The overall theme here is Cristiano Ronaldo a failure with the Portuguese national team? And I will throw the tweet on screen now so that we can read it together, because I think there's a lot to take away here. For those of you who are listening on streaming platforms, this is the tweet. It says, João Felix, quote, flopped again. Bernardo Silva, washed. Leao, overrated, inconsistent. Neto, overhyped. Dallo, not good enough. João Cancelo, can't defend. And Costa, dodgy keeper. People say this, then blame Ronaldo when Portugal lose, saying he has a super team. Make your mind up. Now, do Portugal have a super team?
I think they have very talented players on that team. Would I call it a super team? No. Would I look at it and be like, that's a scary team to go up against? Without a doubt. But if you want to talk super teams, at least looking at some of the teams that I've seen fielded that I would consider super teams, I'm thinking England, I'm thinking France, I'm thinking 2014 Germany. I'm thinking the Netherlands back with Arjen Robben.
Yeah, France 2000, something like that.
Brazil.
2006 Brazil. Those are super teams.
Those are super teams. Ronaldo, listen. Oh, man, I just want to jump the gun here. But we got to take our time. Portugal has excellent players. I don't think that means that they're entitled to anything. We've seen two super teams lose. We've seen super teams make deep runs. And I don't know, frankly, that whole tweet, the entire premise to me is flawed and just feels like, when something's based on a fallacy, what would you say that is? Like phallogical?
Let's go with phallogical. It's a phallogical tweet.
The premise is based on a fallacy because I see the same thing talked about with Messi. Everything about that tweet was reminiscent of things that I've read, and I'll tell you right now, people switch up the second something changes. What I can say, though, is that with a worse team, they won the Euros.
Yes. The Portugal super team. I think of Portugal as, to draw an NBA example, they're like the Denver Nuggets with Carmelo Anthony.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Right? Or for
example
you might be more familiar with. No, not a Brooklyn Nets. They were like the Rockets with Yao and T-Mac. It's like, all right, Shane Battier, you got some good players on this team. Super team? No. The super team was when the Warriors had Steph, Clay, Draymond, and KD. That's a super team. Okay, the Portuguese national team, as they are currently constructed, as they were constructed in 2002 when Ronaldo debuted for Portugal, and how they were constructed when they won the Euro, none of those are super teams. I mean, we don't need to do this, but if anybody in the comments thinks that Portugal was the favorite to win any tournament from 2002 until the last 2024 Euros, please make a case. Because if you want to say they were a favorites, like they were part of a collection of teams, that you would have said, oh yeah, like maybe Portugal could do this thing. For some of the tournaments, I will allow that. But for these other ones, you cannot say Portugal are a favorite for the World Cup. Can I present a case to you, Connor? This is what I think Portugal's biggest problem is as a national team. They have a dangerous fan base. Because Portugal is in a unique position where they have attracted all of the Ronaldo simps, all of the casuals. They look at two national teams, maybe three, because Brazil are just Brazil. We'll put them aside. They look at Argentina because of Messi. What have you done for Argentina? And they look at Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo because that is the GOAT debate, those two individuals. But Portugal is the team inside of Europe that gets the hipsters. No, it's not England. No, it's not Italy. No, it's not France. People might say France are good. They might say Italy's good, but people don't root for France and Portugal people don't root for France and Italy like they rooted for Portugal because they want their GOAT CR7 to go down as the best ever player. And on top of that, they also attract football hipsters who they love to look at the Prem They love to look at these teams and they say, "Oh, Gonzalo Ramos. I think he's Harry Kane level. Oh yeah, Pedro Neto might be a top 3. I mean, I'm looking at his expected assists last season would suggest he's a top 2 winger in the Prem. Ruben Diaz, does he clear Van Dijk? I mean, look at the Premier Leagues. You can make all these really loose arguments for why these Portuguese players are stacked. And I don't think people do that about other teams, because I think Portugal are just good enough for the hipsters to like them, but not strong enough to where it's like straight up plastic. But then you get some of the plastics because of Ronaldo. And then, of course, you get the people who, I don't know, long for the Portuguese overseas empire to return. Those are the 3 sections of their fans. And I think because of that, they have expectations that do not match the team, right? It's a very potent mixture that makes it seem like Portugal are these massive failures when they don't win the World Cup. They're not supposed to win the World Cup, though. Do you disagree?
No. I don't disagree at all. Frankly, you know who I blame? I blame the media, and I blame like a lot of that, like you were saying, that shitstorm that you see online of just people throwing out conflated stats without any context, looking at statistics without any context, and just drawing conclusions that frankly don't need to be drawn. I find it hard to latch onto something like this, to say whether he's a failure or not based on, I don't know, some cryptic tweets like this. I don't know. And to call him a failure on top of that, the 2 biggest arguments, what is like the Nations League and the World Cup, right? You can say he performed poorly there. The entire game plan was built around stopping him, and he lost to France and Morocco. Morocco's literally the biggest mismatch for Portugal that they probably could have faced. Full stop.
Let's break it down for what Ronaldo did specifically for Portugal and what Portugal have done at tournaments, because I looked at the achievements of the Portuguese national team pre and post Ronaldo. So pre-Ronaldo, so he made his debut in like 2002 or something. Pre-Ronaldo, in the entire Portuguese national team history, they finished 3rd at the 1966 World Cup, and they had 2 semifinalist finishes at the Euro all time. So we can say they made the podium twice in their entire history before Ronaldo. With Ronaldo, silver medal at the 2004 Euro, 4th place at the 2006 World Cup, top 4 finish at the 2012 Euro. There's no longer a 3rd place game. Gold medal at the 2016 Euro, gold medal at the 2019 Nations League. So they've won 2 major titles. They had 0 before. And he has 1, 2, 3 other additional semifinal appearances. So in total, Portugal have made the semifinal or better of a tournament 5 times with Cristiano Ronaldo. Before him, they did that 3 times in the history of the national team. So is he a failure? Absolutely effing not. This is like if you said LeBron was a failure with Cleveland because he won 1 ring. It's like, dude, I'm a Cavs fan. We had never won the championship before him. It doesn't matter that he didn't get us 2 or 3. He did something for Cleveland, that the most cursed sporting city in the States. He did something that had never been done before. He brought the title home. Ronaldo did the same thing. Did he only play 20 minutes in the final in 2016? Sure. But he played every minute of every other game leading up to the final. And he had a goal and an assist in the semis against Wales.
And the man was coaching on the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like the softest argument. But even if he didn't, even if he sat his ass down and just, I don't know, sulked, does his achievement get written off? Why would it? Hey, Connor, guess who got injured in the last Copa America final and had to come off the field?
Was it Lionel Messi?
It was Lionel Messi. Now,
so does that result take away anything from his legacy?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I guess we need to go back on his Wikipedia page and delete where it says 2 Copa Americas and just reduce it to 1 because he was on the bench. He didn't do anything. He didn't win that. He wasn't playing. That's what it feels like the argument are for people when they talk about Ronaldo and Portugal in that specific Euro. Like, come on, bro. Come on, dude. He was the most dangerous individual at that tournament. Like, does he have unbelievable stats? Here's the thing with Ronaldo. And I think 3 things are true at the same time. 1, Portugal do not have a super team. 2, Ronaldo was a success for Portugal. And 3, Cristiano Ronaldo is not a clutch player for the Portuguese national team. And that's fine. Okay? Guess who hit the big shot for the Cavs in Game 7? It wasn't LeBron. It was Kyrie Irving. It doesn't matter. Like, this whole notion that the superstars have to do it themselves. Oh, if Messi doesn't score a hat trick in the final, he got carried by De Paul. He got carried by Di Maria. Like, bruh, you have no idea how the sport works. It's a team sport. Come on, man.
There are 10 other guys on the pitch wearing the same
10 other
jersey.
guys on the pitch. Yeah. 10 other guys on the pitch. And he has good performances for Portugal at these tournaments. Like, I think specifically, I didn't go every single one, but Euro 2016, he was pretty good. 2018 World Cup, he had a hat trick against Spain in the group stage. Like, he has these performances. It's just not what you would expect. Yeah, it's just, I don't know if there's another player that's like this where you just expect him to carry his team so hard and he doesn't all the time, but that doesn't make him a failure. Yeah. I don't know. Can you think of another example?
Any player on the English national squad?
Yeah.
Besides Raheem Sterling?
I was thinking Harry Kane for a second. I was like, Kane doesn't have these like.
But you know why you can't think of anybody else like that? Because Ronaldo is a level above. He's a level above. The man has done enough. If Messi hadn't won a World Cup, if he hadn't won a Copa America, or even you put him even with Ronaldo, 1 Copa America, 1 Euro, I'm fine. Still a success. Still a success. You brought something to me and my country that I hadn't seen in 26 years, that I had never seen. I didn't know anything about that. Last person that brought her home was Batistuta. I wasn't alive for that.
Yeah.
That's still a success. That is still a success. Now, if you want to say that he could have done more, fine, right? I think, in the World Cup and what was it, the Nations League before that, he had 1 assist in the Nations League or 1 assist in the World Cup.
He has
1 goal in the
Nations
League.
He has no goals. He has 0 goals in World Cup knockout games. That's the big stat I always see. I looked up his goals in Euro knockout games. He has 3 goals, 2 assists in the history of Euro knockout play. And he's played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Euros. That's a lot of Euros, man.
It's a lot of Euros. It's a lot of
even when you say that, even when you said that he could have done more. Sure. But dude, he took Portugal to 2 Euro finals and won one of them. This is where I'm going to piss you off. Cristiano Ronaldo's greatest claim to the GOAT was immediately following the 2016 Euro. That was the last time Ronaldo was the GOAT before Messi. And the reason is Argentina and Messi had just lost back-to-back Copa Americas to Chile. Ronaldo did the one thing that Messi couldn't do. He won an international trophy. And he won the Euros with Portugal, which I'm just being honest. It is harder for Portugal to win the Euros than for Argentina to win the Copa. It just is. It's not easy for Argentina. But, hey, Portugal winning it, that'd be like, we got the Nations League for CONCACAF coming up. That's like Panama winning it. It'd be like, whoa, damn, okay. Coco Carrasquilla is a beast.
You'll find no pushback from me here. Maybe the Panama comparison is a little bit crazy, but
I'm just thinking like 4th best team in CONCACAF versus.
Agreed. No,
Portugal. Dude, is Portugal even the 4th best team in Europe? Maybe 5 or 6. Maybe 5 or 6.
Ronaldo playing how he was. Yeah. All right. Yes. But my point is that that sort of intangible, I completely agree with what you're saying there, is what I'm getting at. Outside of that, that's fodder, just chicken scratch, chicken feed. Throw it away, throw it on the ground. I don't need it. The man won
Yeah.
it. Full stop. You know how hard those couple years were for me, dude? Are you kidding me? 2016, coming off a loss, I was holding on to the fact, I was like, well, we've been to 2 finals, and we were in the World Cup final, and 2018 is our year. Dude, I was grasping at straws. I was grasping at straws.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. The man did it all. He wins a World Cup, and then, the whole argument and debate comes flooding back in. That's the one thing that he's missing. So to say that he is one accolade, I guess two if you want to count this Copa America, but really, the debate's back on if Portugal wins this next World Cup, full stop. If you want to say that Ronaldo and Portugal are failures because they don't have a World Cup and Argentina does, because let's face it, that's what it is. That's the dichotomy here. You don't give a damn about Portugal overall in their accolades. If you're fielding this argument, you don't care about them. If you're feeding into this argument, you don't care about them. You care about what they look like in respect to the metric that Messi has set. Frankly, that's rent-free space that you are just giving away in your brain. Because as an Argentine, I would be a little bummed out that Messi isn't, quote unquote, the GOAT or what have you, right? That would probably hurt me significantly, but I'd still build statues, still build monuments. He's up there with Maradona.
Yeah.
With a World Cup and a Copa America. Done. Or with just a Copa America. Done. He brought me a trophy. He's a hero.
Last thing I'll say, if Portugal win the next World Cup, does that really put Ronaldo above Messi in the GOAT conversation?
No, it doesn't put him above, but the conversation starts again. For sure.
What if, okay, I agree with you if he's still a starter and still contributes, but what if he assumes like the DeAndre Yedlin role for the Portuguese national team and he's just giving speeches in the locker room? What if he plays 120 minutes throughout the whole tournament and Portugal win because, I don't know, Vitinha balls out, somebody like that. João Felix stops being the biggest fraud in all of football.
Yeah.
Then what? Are we going to actually put context on it and be like, well, he was like a diminished role player, so this doesn't put him on the same level as Messi?
Yeah. I think you do have to take context into account, but there are people that will throw the stats out, Then you're just back to the stats.
Correct.
And really all you're arguing against there are the plastics. He would have to have a primary role, or he'd have to do some like Thierry Henry business where he comes back to Arsenal and scores just a cracker, for a knockout game.
Yeah, you're right. We would go right back to the dialogue that has killed American sports commentary. And I honestly think it's killing football commentary, which is just trophy counting. Yeah. That's the metric we use. Oh, this guy's better than this guy because he's got more Prem titles. I'm like, mate, the other guy plays for Southampton. Did you want them to win the Prem?